Hi guys, it's Dr. Gertis. This week I'm going to send you this video instead of what I normally try to tell you what's going to happen over the course of the week and what assignments you need to look out for. And I want to because I just graded all of the change projects. Now, I got a confession. I really don't like grading sometimes, but this is one of the assignments that I most look forward to. I was grading them as they were coming in because it's exciting, right? So if you've submitted already, I've graded all your change projects unless I've asked you for a little follow up information about it. So here's what's happened. There were some that were hard to quantify, but I said, okay, let's do this anyway and see how this works out. So Alexander Redding, this guy's inspired me, giving up Facebook to make sure he was doing his daily quiet time and everything that he was talking about what it felt like on the other side and tracking. Now he was quantifying by tracking that he was doing it daily, right? So giving up Facebook for quiet time and the remarkable result on the other side. Another student used her project to set up structures for her blind brother, which was a very difficult one to quantify in this way, but it was something that she really needed to do with her family, and it was something that I think was a really good use of this time. Another student did a pre and a post test to learn from her peers how to be a better servant leader. Now, this one quantified everything really nicely. It's a tricky one to do, but she quantified everything. Now, we had two major categories here in the project. One was kind of losing weight, and the other was saving money. Those were the two major ones. So one student lost 8 pounds, another student lost 11 pounds, another student lost 11 pounds, another student lost 13, another lost 13.5. Now, when you're at 13.5, that's like losing a pound a week, right? So even though if you're losing 13 pounds and your goal is 20 or 30 pounds, you're still doing something right. Again, I'm looking at the process, not just the results here. But hold on. Another student lost 22. One actually lost 30. Okay, now 30 out of 30 is excellent, and that's a lot, right? So here with all that, if you're losing 10 pounds or so or more over the course of the semester, you had to be working the system. It doesn't just magically happen, right? Then you had the money side, right? So I had one student with a goal to save 1,000 and wound up saving 1,821.72 cents. Great. Okay. Now it's a smaller goal compared to some other things, but she exceeded it, so that's good. Another student had a goal to save 3,000, wound up saving 3,065. That's great. Met and exceeded her goal. Another student. Now this was really interesting. Her goal was not was to reduce her debt by 4,000. Okay, and she defined her debt as her mortgage. So she's going to reduce her mortgage by $4,000, and now she beat it. Now she kind of cheated a little bit. Now I'm saying this because I know who the student is, and she's not going to be upset. Not she didn't really cheat. She fell into some money, so she had more of a bonus at work than she expected, and she had her tax come in higher than expected, and so she put these things into it. Now her goal was 4,000. She met it with $5,728. Now what she so great. So she's reduced her debt. She's yay, everybody wins. Except what she doesn't understand is there's a multiplying effect here. So she's new to a house. Now I don't know what her mortgage payment is, so I'm making some assumptions. A $200,000 house with 4% interest rate. Now it might be 1% and 6% interest rate or whatever. So it might be a little bit different, but okay, so that would 2,000. I'm doing some assumptions here. $2,000 mortgage with 4% interest rate would mean that she has a total payment of $331,000 with 29 years left, right? So I'm assuming that she's about a year in. Putting down $5,728 as she did is now going to shave off 2.5 years of her expected life of the mortgage, assuming that she stays in the home. She will have saved $11,923 by doing this, which is remarkable. Um, and I don't know that she knew that, so I was putting this out here. That was just fantastic. Now there are two others that I wanted to really highlight that I just thought were incredible. One student saved $4,000 over the course of the semester. And in doing that, she accidentally lost 8 pounds because she was making her food at home, right? So sometimes there's a synergy effect between what you're doing. So she accidentally lost 8 pounds because instead of eating out, another student explained the same thing. Now she was real hyper aggressive, paid off 8,920, sorry, $8,092.19 in credit card debt. Her original goal was 6,000. Okay, so she exceeded that, and she was really working at it. But in the process, she also lost 9 pounds by not eating out, not going late night to Starbucks to get milkshakes and other things along those lines. That's phenomenal. Okay, so I just want to give you a highlight of all the fun things that came out of this project. Like, 3 months ago, we couldn't even think of these kind of results, but right now we are. We're seeing what actually happened. So the question is, what's going to happen in 3 months? Now, hold on. I'm going to get to that in a second. I graded you based on your understanding of the process. I graded you on how well you followed the process, how well you told me about the process, what you did to correct the process, as well as, completing your goal. So now, if you didn't complete the goal, you still could have gotten to 100% just by making sure that the process was what it should have been. With big goals, you have more grace. I mean, 30 pounds, I didn't want to diffuse anybody's motivation in the beginning of the semester, but if you're shooting for 30 pounds, that's a tall task, right? But if you knocked off a pound a week over 14 weeks, great. You are that much closer to that goal, and you'll be there by the end of the summer if you continue. And we'll talk about that in just a second. My progress. So my task, I bit off something that was pretty large as well. So I decided I was going to learn seventh grade Latin. Okay, I never studied Latin before. I was doing this as self-study rather than being taught, and so it was a tough task. I was supposed to get to exercise 185 in order to complete the entire first year. I got to exercise 142, so I failed. But I mean, I'm on exercise 142. In a few weeks, I will be there because I'm going to continue. I'm doing this because I homeschool my children, and my daughter will be into Latin next year. So it'll just take me a few more weeks to get there. Now compare that to last year, where I had the book. And it sat on my desk for an entire year, and I read the first 3 pages. I didn't do any exercises. I read the first 3 pages. 142 exercises are down. So is it failure? Yes, because I didn't meet my goal. But is it a success? Yeah, I'm thrilled. Okay, so same thing with you. If you have not reached where you're supposed to, or where you were planning on reaching, don't worry about it. That's okay, because it's not like it's all over. Um, Jerry Seinfeld talked about, as a comedian, the art in comedy is, or what you have to do in comedy is you have to keep writing more jokes over time, and you get better and better in the process. So his idea was, look, he said, I get a big wall calendar in the beginning of a year, and every day, if I write a joke, I put an X, or not an X, a plus sign on the calendar starting in January, right? I put a plus sign. And the next day, if I write a joke, I put a plus sign. And my goal is just to make sure that that line never disconnects. So it completely fills up over the course of the year. Now, there's something brilliant about that. And that's kind of what your process was like. There's a second part to this process I want to address as well. The second part is this: your team dynamics. You weren't really a team in the classical sense. I called it a team, but you really weren't. You're independents working together. But the support that you got out of your team, you can replicate this with anything, anywhere, in any organization, if you all can band together around a particular goal. And you're banding together around each other's goals, so that's why you're not a team in the classical sense. Okay, so what do you do from here? So if you lost 13 pounds and your goal was a 20, you could be to 20 by the end of the summer, or you can be back to about where you started if you just, eat wrong and get back to your old habits. So how do you get there? Well, so you have a final peer consultation exercise over this. What's going to happen here shortly, where what you're going to do is you're going to give 2 pages of bullet points about what it is that your teammate should have done. Now, this is per person, so for each of your teammates, you're going to have a 2-page bullet points. Take this seriously, but it'll be easy, right? So 2 pages of bullet points that you're going to explain what they need to do moving forward from here to the best of your ability. Now, I do that because you can sometimes see somebody else's issues better than you can see your own, and they can see your issues. So this is like a last whatever. If you want to keep working with people and checking in, great, that's wonderful. It's not required. I mean, I can't do anything beyond this, but you're welcome to do that. But give this two pages of bullet points. And then so as we move forward, I want to talk about the week as well. That's due, that's DBR3, and that's due in 2 weeks. That 2 page of bullet points. Now this week you have the quiz for chapter 18. You have your last chapter to listen to me about, which is chapter 18. Complete your PIAs, and then you have your DB3 self-assessment paper. Now in your self-assessment paper, here I'm going to pull this over because I want to talk about it clearly. I'm asking you to think about your own self and your strengths and weaknesses in light of everything that you learned. So when you look at the self-assessments, did the self-assessments ring true? Were you surprised by anything that you read? What do you feel from everything that you read you need to work on or improve? Then I want you to apply that to your organization. I want you particularly to look at your core strengths. Do your strengths fit your role? And I also want you to think, in what areas do you need other support? Because no man's an island. You need other support. Finally, I want you to apply it to people. And so you're going to read this little bit from The Weight of Glory from C.S. Lewis. And then Lewis is saying that, look, there's no ordinary people. You never talk to a mere mortal. Nations, cultures, arts, civilizations, these are all mortal, and their life is to ours as the life of a gnat. Now, sometimes we think like this organization, this is long term, it's been here for 100 years. You know what? You're eternal. And so, as an eternal creature, you dwarf the length of the organization. So, I want you to think, and when you think how to apply Lewis, I want you to ask two questions. How does human dignity affect the way that you manage people? And then second, provide scriptural support for your answer. So I want you to integrate it, but I want you to get through those three categories in what you're going to write this week. Okay, I know this is a mouthful. This is a lot to hear from me. You guys did a great job. I mean, just fantastic job with your change projects. I'm so proud of you guys. I've already graded everything that's come in, and unless I've asked you for a qualification about something particular. But thank you for your time and your hard work, and we'll talk later. Bye bye.